What's going on, lineage? What's going on? What it do? What it do? What it do, man? This is your brother Chief with another video. Big up yourself, respect. Why go on? We're about to get into this build. We're about to get into this build. The topic of this lesson or this video is numbers don't lie, and it's time to get it together. We're going to break down some numbers, all right? And I'm going to put some things in perspective. All right. Now, I've done videos on this before, I think, but I'm gonna kind of like approach it from a different angle and see if we could get this message across. All right. Video. Big up yourself. All right. So we got audio on Facebook. Listen, do me a favor. Whatever territory you're in, go ahead and put that in the comment, and I'll definitely give everybody a shout out. All right. That made a comment and acknowledge you on the build, right? If you're not subscribed to the channel on YouTube, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell because you will get the notifications when these lives come up. You don't want to miss them. If you're on Facebook, please go ahead and follow me on Facebook so that you will catch those lives and be in the in the midst of the live while it's going on. Okay. First off, I would like to acknowledge all our ancestors, all of them, each and every one of them, every fiber in each and every one of them, right? But for me, I always glorify the righteous ones because I glorify righteousness. All the unrighteous ones, I acknowledge them, all right, because they are part of the yin and the yang, the good and the evil, the good and the bad, etc., etc. But I like to promote, righteousness, right? So, um, we are going through a period as so-called colored people, right? And I'm saying so-called colored people because I don't identify myself as colored or black or African American, whatever the case may be, right? But a lot of people still do. However, we are original indigenous people. Whether you think you are from Africa, whether you think you're from the Americas, whether you think you're from Europe, whether you think you're from Asia, wherever, any part of the earth, all right? We are the original beings on the earth, right? So regardless of what it is, I think as a consensus, we could all agree that we are original indigenous people. So with that being said, I'm talking about in this build the family structure, the village, the community. All right. We as a people, it is part of our culture, all right, to promote the village. It is part of our culture to promote the community. You feel me? While every other ethnic group was in disarray, they were in chaos. Their family structure was chaotic before they came into the Americas. Now, I'm giving you facts. All right, I'm giving you facts. I'm not giving you, opinions. I'm not giving you, my perspective. I'm giving you researchable information, documented, well documented information with eyewitnesses could verify what I'm talking about. Other ethnic groups that came here, all right, into the Americas, particularly from Europe, they came from a place, a foundation of chaos. Okay, whether they were struggling as slaves, servants, criminals, vagabonds, that's who they were in Europe. And I'm not just talking about the pale skinned people. I'm talking about so-called dark-skinned Europeans as well that came here in 1492. I'm talking about the East Indians that came here in 1492. You see, people don't know the true story of these immigrants, these original immigrants that came into our land. And that's why I keep promoting my book, Gene Insistory Evaluation, because it is imperative that you get that book and study and learn that information and research the information and see that I'm giving you the truth. All right. And when these people came into our lands, they realized we had a strong family structure. We had community. We were each other's keepers. All right. We looked out for each other. As a matter of fact, we kept our doors open and nobody would dare break into your house. People were talking when they seen something that was unrighteous. There was no such thing as, well, those who snitch get stitches and all that. No, that's not part of our culture. That's a learned, low vibrational culture that we need to get away from because we stepped away from having accountability for people destroying our communities and our lives. And we became fearful. But that is not part of our culture. all right, that was pushed on us. It was a learned behavior. You feel me? So I'm going to show you some numbers. And by no means it diminishes who we are as a loving people. We are a loving people. And that was the problem. Our kindness, our love, okay, it was taken advantage of. All right. And had we said no to a lot of things, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in right now, because we looked out for people in here. All right. The less fortunate who came here, we opened up our doors to them. All right. But like I said before, that was something that was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen. It was inevitable. All right. That's just the way it was. That was, destined to be. All right. So let's get into the numbers. And what we're going to talk about, the family structure, the children, all right, the family structure around the household. And then we're going to conclude with, all right, kind of like summarizing everything, going back, see how we could get back to the village, the community, see how we could get back to our actual culture and promoting that, opposed to individuality. Okay. We have failed as individuals and will continue to fail as individuals. All right. Because that doesn't, individuality is not natural to nature. Now, don't get me wrong. It exists in nature, but it is not natural to nature. Because why? Everything in nature has a symbiotic relationship. Okay. Even with the higher and the lower self, where the higher self became divided in the individual, right? There has to be a symbiotic relationship between the higher and the lower self. So the whole concept of the system teaching our people being independent, particularly our women, it was a tool. It was a device to separate and break up the home. It was all intentional, and our women fall for that trick. You feel me? You getting a job and wanting to make money should not be something to promote saying well, I'm independent, I'm making my own money. It should be, the money should still be for the community. The money should still be for the village, vice versa. A man should not be working and he has a family and call it his money. No, it is the money of the community. You feel me? But because women are more emotional, they took that to mean, well, I'm making my own money. You're not making money. You're not making enough. Well, I am the boss. I get to wear the pants. And so it created problems in the household. And then you have people like Beyonce singing, oh, well, with Destiny's Child or Independent. All those things are brainwashing, you see, and people don't realize the power these songs have, the power these words have, because you're constantly singing them. And then when you go to sleep, it dives deeper into your subconscious. And slowly but surely, when your consciousness go back into your subconsciousness, the subconscious doesn't differentiate between good and evil. It does not differentiate between the high and the low. All it sees is just what it is. You feel me? It is the conscious mind is the judge. The subconscious mind is just, okay, it is what it is. And that has become a problem. And see where it has led us, with over 80% of our children, or it could be a higher percentage, end up in jail, in gangs, in the street, or in the grave. And we are still not looking at the situation, analyzing the situation, seeing where we went wrong, do the self-reflection, correct ourselves as individuals. I tell people, yes, it's important to bring back the whole. It's important to bring back the village. It's important to bring back the community, but you have to work on yourself individually. You have to fix yourself individually. You have to become whole individually. Or else trying to bring back the community with broken individuals, what you're going to have a broken community like we have at the present time. So when I call for us coming together, okay, when I call for us coming together as a collective, I'm also encouraging people to be susceptible to healing yourself, fixing yourself, building yourself. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot come into the community while you're working on yourself. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, because it shows that you're making some type of initiative. You're making some type of move. You are being proactive, and you are not part of the procrastination. Okay, so you're working on yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. And I implore that, I encourage that. And people such as yourselves, okay, we would love you to be a part of what we are doing, growing, building. All right, because that's what you want to do. So with that being said, let us look at a few numbers. And let us look at some statistics. And by no means, again, this is constructive criticism because of the love I have for us. All right? Let us go. And of course, I have to put in the word black. I'm doing this research. All right? But we are not black. All right? We all know this. Okay? We are not black. So here we are. Let the screen populate and we'll get into that. And we're going to look at different ethnic groups. Okay? We're going to look at different ethnic groups and we'll compare. All right. Come on, come on, come on. I'm not sure if you guys could see what I'm actually sharing. Can anybody give me some feedback on that? Can you see the screen that I'm sharing? Because I'm looking at it on my phone and I'm not seeing it. So can anybody give me a yes, a no? Let me know what you're seeing. If you're seeing what I'm sharing, please. Okay, it's coming up now. All right, it was a delay on my phone. All right, thank you. All right, so here we are. So we're going to look at the percentages of so-called, all right, so-called black families, okay, and the children in a household at this present time. This is the statistics, all right? This is the statistics as of 2024, all right, of so-called black children living in a household with a mother and father. It is 33%, all right? So we could even round it up to 70%. I'm into 30%. So basically, if you run into 10 so-called black children, literally about 7 of them do not have a mother and a father living in the same household. I'm going to repeat that. This is very alarming. And it's not just here in the United States. It's all over the Americas. You see, we spend too much time listening to the indoctrination of the system. And we have the system making us think we are different. If you come from a different part of the Americas, because you might have a different accent, you may sound a little bit different, right? But we are going through the same thing, the same genocide, the same discrimination, the same indoctrination, the same brainwashing. Okay? Those statistics are very, very troublesome. And this is recent data, approximately 33%. All right? Now, when it comes to us, you know how it is. So I'm going to literally say about 30%. So once again, to reiterate, when you run into at least 10 out of so-called black children, at least 7 of them did not or do not have a father and a mother in the same home. And here's what's even more alarming, right? Even if that's the case, it should be a situation where the parents are getting along so that they could co-parent, so that the child could have a balanced life. Spend some time with the dad, spend some time with the mom, and they could be cordial. But when our people break up, for the most part, that breakup is so toxic that the children are victims of the toxicity. And we don't realize that. Okay, we get so involved in our emotion, being vindictive, being evil, and not realizing that you are not punishing yourself. You're not hurting the man. You're not hurting the woman. You're hurting your children. And then when they end up in jail, they end up dead, they end up in gangs, then, oh, well, you want to blame it on the system. And yes, the system is partially to blame because they are the ones pushing the agenda. All right. But even if that's the case, allegedly, right, you still have a responsibility to determine and control what happens in your home. You determine what's played on the TV. You determine what they listen to. You see, so we have to take some type of responsibility. We cannot just blame it on the system. So that's a problem right there. 33% of so-called Black children right now, as we speak, they are in a home with a single parent. And the truth is, 7 out of 10 times, it's the mother, right? So I still have to give the mothers credit for still holding it down. But I'm not going to give you credit for being a beater mother or being a beater woman because you and the man broke up. And for the fathers who have their children, I'm going to give you credit for holding it down, but I'm not going to give you credit for if you are being salty and bitter towards the woman because she broke up with you. I want this to be as balanced and fair as possible. Because I'm not here to demonize the man or the woman. I just want to show you the numbers and let you know we need to do better. Okay? We need to do better. And we should do better. All right, beautiful. So that's the statistics of so-called Black children as we speak in 2024 that grow up, that are actually in the household without a mother and father currently. Okay? All right, cool. Let us go to the next one. We are going to look at the divorce rate on the same so-called ethnic group as so-called Black people. And I'm saying so-called Black because we are not Black. Okay? All right. Here we are. I think we have let me see. Can anybody see the screen? I think we why is this thing looking like it's frozen? Okay, so I think we good. We should be good. Okay. Yeah, it's just a delay on my phone. That's all it is. So now, according to the data that's available right now, the divorce amongst so-called Black household is significantly high. All right. Apart from or compared to other racial groups. All right. And the statistics showing a divorce rate of around 30%, 30% per 1,000 people, so-called Black people. All right. Now check this out. Check this out. Only 30% of so-called Black people get divorces. Right? So that means 70% of so-called Black people stay together. So if that's the case, then how is it that 70% of children are not living in a household without the mother and father? That kind of look like a little bit contradictory to me, right? But anyway, that's neither here or there. All right. So the divorce rate is really high. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not for institutionalized marriages. I don't condone that because I know it's a contract. And I've done videos on that. All right. But that's a whole different lesson. We're not going to get into that. Okay. If we were versed in contractual law, if we were versed in that type of aspect of law, then I could support institutionalized marriages because we would know that it's a contract and we would know how to treat it like a business. That's why when the majority of so-called Black people get divorced, it's literally, it ends up with anger, hate, animosity, jealousy, chaos. Because why? They didn't know that it was a business. Because the majority of us were not taught to be business literate. Okay? But when you truly know marriage is a contract, it's a business, and the marriage certificate is proof of the contract, to proof of the business, and it has to be registered, then you know you should treat it as a business. Then marriages tend to be more successful even if you break up, because you know you went into a business and you build a business, and that's what it's supposed to be. But most people who get married, they think they're getting married for love. That's what you think. And you think you're getting married on the what's called the so-called God of the universe. No, you're not. The God that you're getting married under is the government, God, governmental ordinance departments. and it's a contract. So therefore, when you get married and you get that certificate, the government steps in as the God in your relationship, as the head of the household. That's why they could take charge, and they now are married to the woman opposed to the man being married to the woman. See, y'all didn't know that, huh? And even if I've broken that down, I'm giving you the numbers right now so you could see, because numbers don't lie. All right? So I'm not for institutionalized marriages unless you know that it's a contract and it's a business and you treat it as such. But if you're doing it for love, I promise you, over 70% of it is going to end up in divorce, because the majority of our people were not taught business literacy. Okay? Let us proceed. Let us go into another demographic of the population. Now, you would have to explain to me, how is that these other ethnic groups, they're with their children, they are in the homes, with their marriages, they are married together, but yet still when it comes to so-called Black people, it's a different scenario. So there has to be something, an underlying situation, okay, an underlying what would I call it? An underlying stimuli, if I may, okay, that's putting our people in that situation. And a lot of people would not want you to think it's that, oh, well, why got to be a race thing? It is a race thing. It is an ethnic group thing. If you want to say it's not a race thing, it's an ethnic group thing. And the so-called Black people as an ethnic group, we are being targeted. Okay? There's a reason for that. Because we are the soul energy of the land. We are the original people of the land. So therefore, everybody else is building, okay, their success on our demise. And we have to realize that. Instead of saying, you know what, let's all be successful. They don't want that. They don't want that. And when I say they, I'm talking about the system. It's not just a pale skin thing, because the Asians are successful, the East Indians are successful, even real Africans that come into our land, they are being successful. So why can't we, as the true Americans and the only Americans, be successful the same way? It is because it's designed that way. We are targeted. Our people are targeted. Our children are targeted. It's by design. Well, allegedly. Don't believe anything that I say. If I ask you to believe me, I'm lying to you. And my question to you is, why aren't you sitting back and analyzing these things that I'm teaching you? Why aren't you sitting back and looking at what Chief is showing you and saying, you know what? I may not like Chief. I may not support Chief, but you know what? He's telling us the truth. So now what can I do about it as an individual? How can I get into my community and teach that truth? How can I start talking to my neighbors? We have to get away from that individuality, my brothers and sisters. We have to. We have to. Now let us go look at another ethnic group. Another ethnic group. We are looking now at the percentages of so-called white, because of course we know that they are not white. Okay? All the way up until the 1800s, the late 1900s, pale-skinned people would not call, Caucasians would not call white people. They were not white. White has always been a status of being free, okay, and being sovereign. They were not a sovereign people. They became a sovereign people, but they were not a sovereign people. They were slaves in Europe. When they came here as indentured servants, they talk about they came here as indentured. No, they came here as slaves. Indentured servant is just a cute word. Our people were indentured servants and became enslaved. The story was switched around. Once again, it's important that you get the book, Genesis to Reevaluation. It breaks all of that down. Okay? With facts to back those things up. So let's look at the statistics of so-called white people. According to recent data, around 70 to 75% of so-called white children in the United States grow up with a mother and father in the same household. So let me ask you a question. Which ethnic group do you think will have more of a calm, collective, and a more productive and a successful lifestyle? living in an environment with both parents. Now you see the contrast? 30% of our people get divorced. 30%, no, pardon me. 70% of our people get divorced. 70% of our children grow up without a mother and father in the same household. But then when it comes to so-called white people, it is the opposite. Instead of it being 70% destructive or not living in the same household or not being married, 70% are actually in their favor. Do you think it's a coincidence? And when we speak of these things, people, oh, well, it's not. Oh, well, it shouldn't be about race. Okay, you know what? It's not about race. It's about ethnicity. How about that? It's by design, my brothers and sisters. These people have a secret language that you don't speak. And they move in silence because you don't speak their language. Okay, they have a language that they speak and you don't know. That's why we are in the bottom of that totem pole. That's why we are at the bottom of the barrel. That's why the scale will never be balanced. It will always be a 70-30. It will always be a 25-75 in their favor. And when I say there, I'm talking about the other ethnic groups. It's not just pale-skinned people. Okay? It's by design. And I don't know how you could sleep at night or lay your head down at night, and I'm giving you the facts, I'm giving you the numbers, and you refuse to say, hey, Chief, you know what, man, listen, I've been looking at you and listening to you for the past 10 years, even the past 2 years. And, you know, I just can't take it anymore, Chief. What can we do? I want to come together. What is wrong with y'all, man? It's a mental disease that you are so prone to self-destruction. It's a mental disease that you're so prone to being at the bottom of the barrel. It's a mental disease that you just choose to suffer, because that's what suffer means, to allow to happen, to allow yourself to be persecuted. That's what suffer means. Now, granted, it's our land and the U.S. government owes us everything. I get it. But they're not just going to give it to us if we just sit on our ass. They're not just going to give it to us. We have to be proactive. And you're just too nonchalant about the demise of our people. You're just too nonchalant about the destruction of our people. You're just too nonchalant about your situation of just always wanting to get by. You should be upset with yourself enough to say, well, not to be more destructive, but be mad at yourself enough to say, you know what, man, enough is enough. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I need to do something right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year, not make a new resolution. There's no such thing as a New Year resolution. Because when you look at the word, a resolution is a resolution. Go look at the word. And how can you look for a resolution if you don't have the solution, or you never had the solution? It is mental disease. You don't love yourself enough. You're not in like with yourself. You're not in love with yourself. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love your people. Period. Now, I know I'm speaking to a lot of people right now. And you might hate me for telling you the truth, but it's okay. It's okay. I will accept the hate. But I'm not going to lie to you. We have to do better. We can do better. You know what's preventing us from doing better? You as an individual. Nobody else but you. So you see how the numbers are. Okay, if this were a basketball game, a football game, a hockey game, any type of game, we will be losing every single time. Every single time. It's funny how our people are the most dominant ones in basketball, football, and those type of sports, right? So we're winning in that avenue, but we're losing in life. Oh my goodness, Chief, I think I need to say that again. In the Colosseum, because you see, we're living under a Roman Empire. So that's what the Romans did. When the people was getting restless, the people, felt something was wrong and they wanted to stand up and fight. The Romans said, you know what? Nah, man, we got to start doing these games in this Colosseums and bring them in. At first, they used to let them come in for free. And they would have sports and entertainment, and they would distract them, take their minds out of their pain, out of their suffering. It's the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. Same thing they're doing. The only difference is they're paying them now. All right. So now we have the majority of so-called black people dominating all these sports, and they're winning at games, right? But they're losing in life as a collective. In that, you know what? So if in the game of life we are losing 70% of the times as a community, as a family structure, as the village, and our children, 70% of the times we are losing. Aren't we tired of these losing numbers? Aren't we tired of these statistics? A game of life is a game of war. So therefore we are losing the war 70% of the times. But yet still by nature we are warriors. By nature we are hunters. By nature we are builders. We gave the world civilization. But yet still 70% of the times we are the uncivilized ones. Let us proceed. So you see the statistics in terms of so-called white children living in a two-parent household. Okay? Let us look at the divorce rate amongst so-called white people. Here we go. Share. So when we look at the divorce rate, okay, among so-called white people, it's about 15%. Literally, amongst our people is twice, a little more than what it's twice that amount. I'm asking you once again, do you think it's a coincidence? What is the underlying message here? Are they saying that our people love each other less? No, that's not what it is. That's not what it is, my brothers and sisters. No, we are a loving people and we love each. I truly, listen, I truly think we love each other. We just don't know how to express the love for each other because we are a loving people. Caucasians don't know how to love like us. No disrespect. Okay? The only difference is they know it's a business. And you see, the majority of them are taught financial and business literacy. That is the difference. It is not because they know love more than us. Now, we taught them love. You feel me? So it has nothing to do with whether we love each other or not. Nah, I truly think we love each other. But sometimes that love can be destructive. You see, love, people say love is not supposed to hurt, but love does hurt. Love does hurt. Love could be a result of destruction if you don't know how to love properly. Or it depends on the angle of your love. Because sometimes some people love you so much, it could be scary. They'll kill you and they love you. You feel me? So when we're looking at these numbers, it's a mental thing. It's a societal thing. And what I mean by that is it's a system that's designed and targeted to our people. The type of music, the type of television programs. You see what I'm saying? That we allow in our household. That's making the imprint on our people and our children. It becomes part of your reality. And you don't realize that's the problem. Because you're not focused enough. Reason being is because you're distracted. You got to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to make ends meet. So you cannot focus and you cannot be still. You see, it's only in the moment of stillness you get control over yourself. It's only in the moment of stillness you get control over your environment. You feel me? Your environment still has to do with your mental, because if you look at the word environment, it's N in is interchangeable via your mental, which is meant, just like government controlling government, the control of your mental. That's why they have governmental departments. Hence, they are God, governmental ordinance departments. So your environment, okay, is literally your outer perspective of your mental. All right? But it's supposed to be in. Why? It's supposed to be environment. Therefore, everything begins within. You're supposed to control your mental and not allow things or people outside of you to control your environment. Once you are able to control your environment, then your out environment will be different. It will be a different reality. There will be a shift, a paradigm shift within your mental. Okay? But because you are so destructive within, because you're so insecure within, because you're so fearful within, then it reflects on the outside of you. So when you're driving down the street, you see a little blue light behind you, or your heart stops because the police is behind you. Even if you have your registration, you have your insurance, your tail lights is working, the speed limit is 45, you're doing 30, so you're good. But just because you see the blue lights, your heart stops. Oh my gosh, oh my God, they're going to stop me, even if you're not doing anything wrong. You see what I'm saying? Because we have been programmed by the system to live in fear. And y'all know I'm speaking the damn truth. What does this have to do with all of what I'm talking about, Chief? Why? Because it's a societal thing. All right? We were studied. You feel me? We were studied like lab rats. In fact, even more than lab rats, we were studied, scrutinized, investigated. What made these people so great? And let me tell you something. If somebody could literally go ahead and study you so good and pinpoint exactly what made you so great, I promise you, once they find that secret, guess what? They could find your nemesis. They could find exactly what's gonna make you not as great as you are. You see how great Superman was, or Superman is, the sun, right? Of course, we're not going to get into Superman could never be a pale man because people cannot stand the sun. So we know that's a fallacy. We know that's a lie, right? And then when he go into the coal, you will see the kryptonite in the coal, where he's supposed to be strong in the coal. They show you he's weak in the coal. It's reverse psychology. But anyway, those who missed that message, I just gave it to you. Okay, Superman could never be a so-called pale man. Go into the sun and get that type of superpower. It's impossible. That is not their genetic makeup. Superman is and supposed to be a man of color, because he's the only one that could go to the sun and sustain and use the sun as his power. When he gets into the coal, he gets weak. That's the kryptonite. But anyway, that's a different story. But I just gave you a jewel, gave you a gem. All right? But the point I'm making is this, right? Because they found Superman's strength. Moral of the story is this. They found Superman's strength. So therefore, they were able to play on his weaknesses. And you see, this society, they knew our strength. And our strength was in the village. Our strength was in the community. Our strength was in the tribe. Our strength was in the clans. That's why they had to push our people towards gangs. A gang is a tribe. A gang is a clan. A gang is a nation. You feel me? But the only difference was they had to poison their minds to be self-destructive, to destroy each other. Because they know that was our strength. We were a people that worked together symbiotically. We were a people that worked together as a community, as a village. That was our creed. That was our code. So they was like, oh, you see, together they build. Together they know group economics. Together they are powerful. What can we do? They knew we were a spiritual people. They knew we moved to the beat of the drums and the music. So this is what we're going to do. We see that their food, they're wealthy people, they're eating right, they're eating from the earth. All right, they're sun people. Okay, the sun keeps them vibrant. You know what I'm saying? Their music has soul. So you know what we're going to do? If all of that, they are spiritual people, first thing we're going to do is we're going to give them the Bible. Okay, then we're going to teach them, oh, well, you know, let me tell you about soul food. Opposed to the S-O-L, we're going to tell you about the S-O-U-L. Your soul is not spelled S-O-U-L. No, your soul is spelled S-O-L, like the solar. There's no such damn thing as S-O-U-L as your soul. No, it's the S-O-L because it's the same thing that's out there in the sky shining. It's the same thing that's within your solar plex shining. How come solar plex is not spelled S-O-U-L A-R-P-L-E-X? How come it's spelled S-O-L-A-R? But your soul food is spelled S-O-U. No, that's devil's food. That's not soul food. That's devil's food. That's food of destruction. That's food to kill you. Our soul food had life. The soul food you're eating is death. You feel me? What does it have to do with the numbers, Chief? It is societal. Okay? We were targeted. We were studied. And those things were put in place strategically to destroy ourselves. Okay? Let us proceed. I know I'm talking to somebody today. I don't know who, but I'm talking to somebody. Let us go to the next ethnic group. Divine Love 41. I appreciate that. I appreciate love that lineage. The book is fire. Do me a favor, please, man. I want people to truly see. Don't just take my word for it. I want them to know the gem and it's over 20 years of studying. I put in that book 360 pages. That's why it's called Jinn Insists to Reevaluation. I promise you will never find another book like it on the planet unless somebody literally just copied the book verbatim. I did my thing in that book, not just because I wrote it. I'm telling you. Okay. So, Divine Love 41, if you could do me a favor, please, you know, send me an email. I would like you to do a review on the Facebook page. Like, I really, because we need to get this book out here. All right. I even want to create a little book club. One of our Republic, Chieftainess suggested. And it's a great idea. And we're going to get into that. So please, Divine Love 41, if you would like to be a part of that, my email is in the link below. I'm asking to do me a favor. All right. I don't ask for things like that. You know what I mean? So if you'd like to be a part of that, it's not going to cost you a dime. All right. It's just a review. That's what I'm asking for. I would very much appreciate love that. Thank you so much. All right. All right. So let us go into the next ethnic group and see what we have here. We are looking at Asians right now, so we don't have to get into the different ethnic groups within the Asian umbrella. All right, so we're just gonna say Asians, period. When it comes to Asians, right? Currently, literally between 80 to 85% of Asian children, they live in a household with both parents. Isn't that interesting? Why? Because they value community. They value the village. You see what I'm saying? Something we did, something we used to do, something that's still within us, but it's just misdirected. Because our children are going outside the home looking for the village, looking for the community that should have been in the house, that should have been in the household. Before our children are 16, 17, and 18, you want to kick them out the house. Your daughter want to leave your house before she's 12 and 13 because she can't get along with her mother. The son want to leave the house before he's 13, 14 because the father is not around or he can't get along with his father. You see, we got to do better, man. And once again, like I said, it was by design. We did not kick our children out of the homes. We did not kick our children out of the communities. No, go prove me wrong. Go back into the early 60s, 50s, and 40s. Everybody lived within literally a few 100 feet or 50 feet amongst each other or next to each other. because we knew the concept of village. We knew the concept of community. If you didn't have a pair of shoes, the neighbor would give you something. If you didn't have some sugar, the neighbor would give you something. Man, that's how I grew up. I want to bring that back to our people. We don't have to struggle. One hand is better than two. Well, it depends if the two hands are actually on the same page. But when two hands are fighting each other, two hands could not be better than one. You are better off by yourself, I agree, if you cannot deal with people that's on the same page. But when you have people that are willing to meet you halfway, willing to work with you, let's bring back the community. You don't have to do it alone. You choose to do it alone. You see, because we are the only ones that's out here pushing that independent BS. Oh, I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody. It's me. I could do me. I'm going to do me. Man, that's the most foolish and stupid thing I've ever heard. Nowhere in nature you will find that. Nowhere in nature you will find that type of stupidity. It is stupid. Okay? Look at the statistics of the Asians. 85% of their children grow up in households. You tell me how many of them in jail now. Go tell me how many of the children in jail. I'll let that be your homework. Go look at the percentage of Asian children in United States jails. You see, it makes a difference when the family structure is put together. It makes a difference when the father and mother is active in the home, whether they're in the same home or they're in separate homes. Co-parenting is a thing, and you could do it and have mutual and cordial respect for each other. It don't have to be a bitter situation. You choose for it to be a bitter situation, whether it's on the fault of the woman or the fault of the man. I'm not here to pick sides. I'm just here to show you the damn problem that we need to fix. All right? That's Asians. Let us dive a little deeper now. Check this out. Let us look at the divorce rate amongst Asian households. The divorce rate amongst Asian households right now is literally around 4%. 4%. So therefore, 96% of Asian people stay married. Now, does that mean they get along all the time? I don't know. I'm not in their household. I don't care. I'm looking at the numbers. Whether they stay together for the business. Why? Because the majority of Asian people, they have businesses and they know that, hey, you know what? Even if we're not together, we got a business. We got to keep this family together. When you go into a Chinese restaurant, you only see Chinese people. When you go into a Korean dry cleaners, whatever the case is, you only see them. Even out here in Brooklyn, when you go to the Chinese fruit stands, okay, you may see one so-called person of color or two working. Now, you might see one or two sisters on the register, but trust me, that camera is right in their face. However, you will see a whole bunch of Mexicans. A whole bunch of Mexicans, because they are the same people. Those are their direct lineage. They look out for their people, even their extended family, which is the Mexicans. Y'all think this is a game? It's not a game, man. It's not a game. 94% of them are in a two-parent household. Asians. All right, let's proceed. No, this one is just going to take you. It's going to take us on a whole different level, and I'm not surprised. Check this out. According to available data, the percentage of Jewish children growing up with both parents in the same household is very high. They didn't even give a number. They didn't even give a number. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny to me. Okay? They didn't even give a number. It says likely exceeding what the national average, as Jewish communities tend to prioritize strong family structures and lower divorce rates. However, precise statistics can vary depending on specific demographics within the Jewish population. You see what I'm saying? Why do you think they're the most successful? Why do you think they own all the basketball teams? Why do you think they own all the hockey teams? Why do you think they own the every sports arena? Why do you think they own BET? Why do you think they own all the radio stations around the country? So if that's the situation, and every other ethnic group based on percentage is going through some type of divorce situation, their children is going through some type of self-destructive situation, chaotic situation, but the Jews are not going through it, then it begs the question, who's creating the problem? Who's running the system? But again, I'm not saying anything. You're not stupid. Read between the lines. Let us proceed. Y'all think this is a game, huh? Like I said, this is war, and you don't realize you're at war. All right. What do we have next? Let me show y'all something. Okay? Let us go back. Let us go back just a little. Because the 1950s and the 1970s is pretty much the same statistics. Now let me show y'all something. Numbers don't lie. Now let us go back to the 60s and the 70s, right? Also, is pretty much the same numbers in the 40s and the 50s. According to the data that's available in the 60s, right? And the 50s, I mean the 60s and the 70s, approximately 67% of so-called Black children live with both parents. But this percentage significantly declined throughout the following decades, with only around 33% of so-called Black children living with two parents household by the late 1980s. Now, my brothers and sisters, if in the 60s and the 70s, over 60%, we're talking about literally about 70 to 75% of our people had a two-parent household situation. And we're talking about 10, 15 years later. 10, 15 years later, in 1980, it dropped all the way down to 33%. You're going to tell me that there was such a drastic shift in mental attitude towards each other that it dropped so significantly without any type of outside influence? No, no. There was something put in place. It was a curse, a spell that was put on our people. I mean, apart from us calling ourselves Black, there were other stimuli and other stimuli, other situations going on behind the scenes, certain spiritual things happening our people were not aware of, spells that were cast. You tell me. In the 60s and the 70s, over 67%, we're talking about 70 to 75% of our children, those were the years, right? Grew up with both parents in the household. You feel me? And then we have 10, 15 years later, it dropped down to 33%. Let me explain something to y'all. All right? Let me show y'all some more statistics. See, when I'm talking, I know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't just make these things up. I want us to realize where we are at. And the only people that could fix us is us. The system is not going to fix us. I don't care who you vote for, because vote is nothing more than a pledge to a God. Hence, government, ordinances, departments. That's your God. All right. So with that being said, when you vote, it don't change anything. You just pledging to the people that's put in place, all right, to keep us at the bottom. See, we have to step up as a people, as a collective. Is the only way it's going to happen. Whether you want to deal with people or not, at some point you're going to have to force yourself to. Okay? And I don't, and I hope you're not selfish enough to say, hey, you know what? I would rather see all my people perish than me coming together with anybody to change things. That's the mentality of a sick individual. You feel me? All right. It's so cold in New York, the heat is coming up. So that's that sound that you hear in the background. Let us go to the next one. Let me explain something to y'all. All right. I'm just stepping away from that hissing sound with the heat. Let me explain something to y'all real quick. Give me 1 second here. All right. What I'm showing you now is this. In the 1950s, all right, soul music evolved. We always had soul, right? So all music was always soulful, but the identification of soul music, okay, it evolved from the 1950s to the 1970s. So all through the 1950s and the 1970s, the late 70s, right? We had soul. You see, we were moving to the beat of the music. All right, we were moving to the beat of the words. The words were uplifting. You feel me? Go listen to the music of the 60s and the 70s. All right, that brought us together. We were still within our spiritual element. Okay, my brothers and sisters, you see, these things, it is no coincidence, my brothers and sisters. This is real. I'm giving you real statistics. I'm giving you real facts. You see, because they knew that, and they know that our people are a soulful people. We are a musical people. You feel me? That was one of our strengths, or one of our biggest strengths, and it became our biggest nemesis. Look at the state of the music today. And our people don't realize what you listen to, you become. Because music is a form of eating. Music is an energy, and food is supposed to give you energy, right? That's what food is for. So because you think it's not something that you're literally putting in your mouth, okay, then you think you're not eating something. You're taking in energy. That's what it is, right? So with that being said, I'm going to show you what happened in the 1950s and the 70s into the late 70s when we had soul music. Even in the islands, you know what I'm saying? We had people like Gregory Isaac, you know what I'm saying? We had Bob Marley, you know what I'm saying? So don't just think it was in the United States alone, okay? We had soul all over. Yes, it may be in a different genre, all right? But it was still soul music, even in the soca music, okay? There was soul. People were speaking about political things. People was talking about loving each other. You dig? But let me show you the transition when they started to study our people, the spirituality of our people, the vibration and the frequency we were on when we were in our soulful self. It started to change with the food, and then boom, let me show you where we got disconnected from our soul. And I did a video like this before, and I dropped it down. Let me show you where the drug era came in. And I've shown it before, but I'm going to show it again. And it might blow your mind because people think I don't know what I'm talking about. But listen to me. All right. From the 1950s to the 1970s, we were a people that was flourishing. And they just couldn't understand, like, what can we do to destroy these people? Okay, the father and the mother was in the home. Yes, they had disagreements. Yes, the father went out. He had a child on the mother, or the mother had a child on the father. But guess what? They stayed together. They were still in the family, right? Because we understood the concept and we overstood the concept of family, community, village. But guess what? They found our nemesis in music, and it started with disco. The disco era was in the late 70s into the early 80s. You feel me? As soon as that happened, crack, cocaine, AIDS, I mean, all type of stuff. You know why? Because that's what disco was meant to do, to disconnect us from our soul. And it's right in our faces, but people just cannot put the pieces together. Well, I'm here putting it together for you. Okay? I'm here putting it together for you. And go study the music in different parts of the Americas, particularly the Caribbean. When soul music died in the United States, go see what happened to reggae and calypso in the islands. It changed. It changed the same way. So we got disconnected from our soul. That's what the disco era did. It was a spiritual spell. It was a spiritual ritual in the music. So we had soul, and they say, nah, that music, that drum is keeping the people. We got to change the vibration of the music. We got to change the frequency of the music, and we got to alter the words. And as soon as that happened, our people fell. Another fall from grace, because they disconnected us from our soul with disco music. And see what happened after that. And from there, it was just downhill. See where we are at today. We got people like Little Red with cosmetics talking about gonorrhea on your lips and on, my booty hole brown and all type of stuff. And people are supporting these things. Y'all think this is a game, man? Y'all think it's a game? It's not a game. This is real life. It's real life. No, I'm not here saying that, oh, well, everybody have to go run down to, a city hall or run down to a minister and get married. I'm not saying that. Because you still don't know the concept of marriage is what it means. It's a business. So like I said before, I do not support institutionalized marriages. I don't support that. Unless you know that it's a business, it's a contract, and you approach it like that, and you detach yourself from those two fictitious entities getting married. That's a whole other business by itself, which ain't got nothing to do with you. You think it's you getting married. No, it's not. It is two corporations coming together, making money for a bigger corporation, the holding company, which is the United States. But you know what? That might go over some heads. Okay? And every product that comes from the marriage, aka the children, belong to the holding company, which is the government. Because you have not detached yourself from that entity that came together to create those two businesses, or that one business. And the United States is the holding company. You still think it's you getting married. No, it's not you. You think it's you, but it's not. And because our women are so emotional, they will hear this truth, they will see the truth, and they will still ignore it. Why? Because they have to go with the perception of what society gives them. No, I want the big wedding. I want the white dress. I want to walk down the aisle. I want the bridesmaid. I want 1,000 people at my wedding. I want to post all these pictures, and you're promoting your business, but you don't know it's your business, a business that's making you broke because you don't know it's your business, and you're promoting it for the holding company, which is the United States, thinking you're doing it for love. It's an illusion. You're doing it for the perception of love. Okay? That's not love. It's a business relationship. It's a business infatuation. You're not in love, you're infatuated. Because if you were in love, you would not need the government permission to get married. As a matter of fact, The moment that man entered inside of you, that was the marriage. Okay? Can we go back to the ancient times and such knew his wife? It never said they went to the council or they went to a city hall, or Peter or John, or no, it never said none of that. He knew his wife. What does that mean? He got some that became his wife. The moment somebody enters inside of you, that's a marriage. You become wifey. So many people have been with so many people. Literally, they have had so many husbands. They think like the only husband they had is when they got married and they went down the aisle and they jumped the broom. Oh, he was my first husband. No, if you had 10 men, you had 10 husbands. Ain't that a blend? Same thing with a man. You had 10 women, you had 100 women, you had 100 wives. I know a lot of you don't like hearing the truth, but I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. So don't let this paper thing fool you. Oh, well, I've only been married one time. How many men you been with? 5. Okay, well, you had 5 husbands. But Chief, it's not the same. We were not married. Yes, you were married. He got some, right? So that was your husband. The paper doesn't mean a damn thing. The paper is just proof of a corporation was created. That's all it means. That's all it means. So you see, we have to do better as a community. As a community, we have to start isolating ourselves and building together. That's what we got to do. And those who are not ready, it's fine. They will meet us. They will meet us when they are ready. They are not ready. It's okay. It's all right. Everybody don't have to get this at this time. But we got to show them something different. We got to show them that there is another way. You see, we keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result. It's called insanity, my brothers and sisters. It's called insanity. So, like I've said, and I will continue to say, we have to come together, a few of us, not everybody, because not everybody's going to come together and sing Kumbaya. The truth of the matter is this. Some people manifested here to be evil. Some people manifested here to be Satan. And all Satan means is adversary. Satan is not a man in hell with a pitchfork and a red outfit and the horns. No, that's what religion taught you. Okay? That's what they taught you. No, you could be Satan if you're not righteous. Period, point blank. So those of us who are righteous, or at least making an attempt to be on the right path of life, we need to come together and start holding these people accountable. You feel me? Calling them out as a group, coming together, doing videos. Hey, you know what? BT, listen, man, we're tired of all this type of music that you're playing to our people. It's self-destructive. Nobody's doing that. But the same ones that call themselves conscious, that call themselves righteous, I see y'all on Facebook and in all these videos still shaking your ass to the same destructive music, calling yourself bitches and hoes. But yet still you're righteous though. You conscious. Oh, I'm a queen. What are you, a queen bitch? I mean, come on, man. It just doesn't make sense. Somebody let it make sense to me, please. A bitch is a female dog. Why would you want to be that? And say, oh, well, you know what I mean. You cannot switch a word from what it is. Go look at the etymology of the word. It's a female dog. And then to make matters even worse, you call yourself a bad bitch. 2 negatives. How productive could that be for our young women? How productive? I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Anyone that's promoting self-destruction, destructive behaviors in their music, in their ways to our people, man, the ancestors can come take you right now and drop you right on the ground in front of me. I will not lift a hand to pick you up. Because you deserve what you get. You feel me? You deserve what you get because you're consciously destroying your people. Whether it's for a price or you're doing it for free or you're doing it for fun, it doesn't make a difference. So you deserve what you get. Who am I? I'm not your God. You are your own God. Okay? I am not your God. You are your own God, and you have to judge your own self. So I'm not going to intervene. But if I see a brother or a sister making an effort to build, change, make some moves, I will extend a helping hand. But if you're on this destructive path, and I give you a word of advice, even offer some type of, and you could no, do you. That means you are conscious of what you're doing, and that's what you chose to do. Be destructive to your people. And I don't support that. I don't condone that. I have called radio stations. Of course, nothing happened. At least not that I know of. I have sent letters. I've done it. You see, the things that I tell people or I suggest for people to do, I do it. But me sending one letter, how effective that's going to be, opposed to 1,000 of us sending letters. You see what I'm saying? And that's the secret language that these other communities have. They move as a group. They move as a community. They move as a unit. They move as a village. That is one of their secret languages. So when you see things start changing, okay, you wonder, how it's happening. It's affecting us in a negative way, and it's affecting them in a positive way. Typical example, go into Brooklyn right now. Caucasians are moving back to Brooklyn. How is that? Like, what type of language are they speaking to know when to move? But you see, I'm not blind. I saw it coming 10, 15 years ago. 10 years ago, I was telling people, yo, Caucasians are moving back to Brooklyn. People thought I was crazy or stupid. But you see, I'm paying attention because the garbage cans we had in the streets, all of a sudden, they became garbage bins. As soon as I saw that, I was like, boom. I told my boy, look, 2 weeks now, I'm seeing garbage bins and not garbage cans. I say, guess what, man? Gentrification. I did a video on that on YouTube, okay? And I was telling people about it. Everybody ignored me. You see what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, we started getting speed bumps. Then the speed bumps started coming in the little individual streets. I was like, listen, bro, pay attention. Caucasians are coming. Gentrification is coming to Brooklyn. Yeah. Nobody wanted to believe me. Then all of a sudden, okay, then we started having bike lanes. And slowly but surely, it started happening. Then we started to see more trees coming in the neighborhood, like one plant here, another plant here. Like before, okay, so we didn't need speed bumps when it was just us. We didn't need bike lanes when it was just us. Our children didn't need speed bumps, or we didn't need extra trees because we don't need oxygen like nobody else. Okay? And now they're all over Brooklyn. And Caucasian people always like to tell, it's not about race, but then they're the ones enjoying the perks of everything that's happening. But it's not a problem though. But a lot of them are just too blind or choose to be blind to see what's happening. Trust me, they know the numbers. They thrive on the numbers because why? Your dwindling numbers, okay, or your plight is what they strive for. Not just Caucasians, ethnic, the Asians as well, the East Indians as well. Everybody's living off of us. Everybody's living the American dream, but the original American is living a nightmare. And I've been talking and preaching and talking and teaching and talking about these things for years. Literally almost begging people, let's come together. We made some move a few years ago. Then a devil came in the mix and literally shut everything down. One of us. That's what our people do, man. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not. Call me stupid. You know what I'm saying? Tell me I have too much time on my hand. No, this is you know what? It's my purpose. That's what I was sent here for. And it's no fault of mine. It's just in my nature. That's what I manifested here to be and to do. I cannot change it. Trust me, I tried my best to just say, hey, listen, man, I don't want to deal with this no more. I took a break. I took a hiatus, and I have to come right back and do what I was meant to do. And that is to uplift my people, restore our birthright, okay, restore our identity, put us back at the table. I am tired of seeing us at the bottom of the table begging for crumbs in our own land, man. It has to stop. And we are the only ones that could change it. Nobody else but us. But us. Nobody could fix us but us. We can allow a system that's bent to destroy us to fix us. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. All right. So this video is about an hour and about 15 minutes. I'm about to conclude. All right. So I want to thank y'all, man, for being a part of this build. Let me give a couple of shout outs of just the people I could see on here. I'm certainly sure it's more, but I can't see y'all. All right. So we have Supreme Health and Wealth. Divine Love 41. Like I said, please do me a favor. Send me an email. My email is in the link in the description of the video. Who else we got? We got Sean Woodford Bay. All right. Just those are the people I could see. I can't see nobody else. I can't even see anybody on Facebook. So, but if you're on Facebook as well, I'm just sending lots of love and positive energy, man, and I'm going to continue to talk and do what we do, and slowly but surely, I'm certainly sure I can't say my work or my words or what I teach is in vain. I can't say that because I know there are people that's hearing and seeing and feeling the information, you know what I mean? But everybody's going to step up and get involved, in their own time, but don't let fear be that deterrent. Don't let fear be the thing that prevents you from saying, okay, you know what, man, we got to step up. You see, we got to do it for the collective. We got to do it for our people. We got to do it for our children. We got to start changing things. We got to start calling these radio stations, calling these networks. We are the ones that got to push our way in. All right. The same way a rapper could push his way into a situation and put that type of music out there to destroy our people. The same way we could push our way in and counteract the negativity and the low vibrational activities. You see, we could do that. We have the power. You feel me? All right. So y'all enjoy the rest of your 24. I may or may not do another build later, but we'll see. All right. So we'll talk soon. Take care.